have push to talk as well. Yeah, I do the same thing. I just have like Notepad open with me and just make sure that I'm clicked in that, because you'll get little apostrophe thingies in the document.
Good to know.
Okay, so we're live on Twitch. Everything else ready. Alright.
Get the image ready?
Yeah, that was ready before. I do that before we go live, because otherwise I have to swap to it to then scale it.
I know, just checking. Doesn't hurt to be extra sure.
Okay. Oh. I apologize in advance because I'm still coughing randomly, so...
That's okay.
Okay, I'm set. I've had all my tablets. I'm done.
Alright. Bring this up. Are we ready?
Yeah, mate.
You pull my teapot back on the stove.
Huh. Broken audio.
Yeah, but it could be because we didn't talk for a little bit, so...
Okay. That's true. Alright.
Have a good show.
Thanks! And double posts in chat!
Yeah, that's client side. I've noticed that Twitch does that sometimes. It puts everything twice. Does that when
How
I'm on
can
my
you fix
iPad. I don't know, but it doesn't post twice. It just shows it twice for some reason.
Oh.
Like, I don't see double post, but he does.
No, me either.
So,
Me either.
exactly. It's, I don't know, I think it's a... I haven't seen any information about it, like, across the interwebs.
No, that's very odd.
Alright. Hey, ready, Cinder?
Mm-hmm.
Countdown. 3, 2, 1.
Hello, and welcome to episode 67 of Reins of Azeroth. I'm your host, Cinder, and I am joined, as always, by my lovely co-host, Spaz Wesson. How are you, Spaz?
I'm doing well.
Good, good. This week, we are joined by a very special guest. This week, we have Malefic with us. How are you, Malefic?
Doing excellent. How are you?
I'm good. Have you had much caffeine?
I'm always on caffeine. I've had a little this morning, though.
Oh god, I'm always so good. Like I know, and I know Spaz is the same way. We're always so grateful when we have American guests on because the time difference is absolutely atrocious. And so, what it's like 4:30 for you there in the morning right now. That's not an awake time, unless you're like still awake.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a morning person, but I do stay up pretty late, so it's not too bad.
Well, we really appreciate you coming along because you're here to talk to us about mythic stuff tonight, mythic dungeons and mythic raiding and all that. So before we get started, why don't we get to know you a little bit better? Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into playing WoW and what you do?
Sure. So just a little bit about me. I work as a computer engineer for Intel, and we make NAND flash semiconductor wafers. So I'm pretty big nerd. Spend all my days and honestly more evenings than I would like just writing code.
Nice.
I also go to school full time. I'm going back for a second degree, so I don't have a whole lot of time to play WoW, but I used to play pretty extensively up until about a year ago. I started playing WoW in about 2005, so mid-vanilla, I think that was. And I was working for an internet provider at the time as tech support. And the coworkers that I had, they all played WoW kind of in between phone calls and stuff like that. And so when I started, they said, hey, you should install this game. It's pretty fun. We all play. And so that's pretty much how I got started.
Nice.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I wish
My,
job where I could play WoW in between. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, I've got a friend of mine who works tech support, and he would love to play WoW during the day instead of in between.
Yeah,
Well-
it was pretty fun. Made the day go a lot faster.
And also, like, if you get a really stupid tech support call, you can, like, get out all your frustrations by blowing things up in the game rather than yelling at them.
That's very true, yeah.
It's my theory. So Reins of Azeroth is mostly a show all about collecting things. So that's what the rest of our interview questions are about. So for you, do you have a favorite thing that you like to collect in game? Do you like collecting mounts or achievements or anything like that?
Don't really have a favorite as far as the thing I like to collect, but I do like to do most of my collecting in old raids. Because it's just kind of fun for me to go back and reminisce about when that was current content and kind of remember, I guess, the good old days.
Well,
So I guess I end up collecting a lot of transmogs mostly just because of that's usually what's there.
Yeah, because I mean, I imagine you had to throw a lot of it away before the wardrobe stuff came in. Like, I always felt really bad with the transmog stuff for people who had played its vanilla. I can only imagine how many pieces you've just had to vendor and yeah, I don't know, it just makes me a bit sad.
yeah. Well, the good old
Yeah,
days for us.
definitely
are
nice to have all those
Cataclysm,
back.
Yeah.
Smash, want to take next questions?
Yep. Sorry, I was just coughing. Do you have a favorite mount or toy or pet or achievement?
Oh, there's so many. I kind of rotate, I guess, but probably my favorite mount would be is it the Sandstone Drake, the archaeology one?
Yes.
Yep.
It's one of the more useful ones, I guess, because it's a flying mount and somebody else can ride on it. So, and it's a lot of fun. It took a long time to grind that out.
I can imagine. Especially when it was current sort of thing. It's a grind now, but more so, I'm assuming.
Yeah, back when archaeology was new, I guess.
So, do you have a favorite like collecting moment?
Favorite collecting moment. So I guess does the Green Fire quest count for the Warlock?
Totally.
Absolutely.
That's one of my favorite moments in game, just period. It was so much fun to have a quest that was tailored specifically for your class and go. And it was also fun because, and I'm not trying to be an elitist, but it's always fun when you have something that not a lot of other people have. So to be able to have, that green fire that's so visible and so obvious and, call down the green fire and brimstone from the heavens, it was pretty awesome.
Actually, fun little tidbit. I found out that in the Demon Hunter Class Hall campaign, you go back to the Black Temple, which Akama has protected with holy wards because the warlocks busted in there for their green fire.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, apparently the something of the Black Harvest is the cabal of the warlocks, and they break in there so you could get the green fire, and after that he's like, nope, not dealing with that again, and put a whole bunch of holy protective wards around it, and so it makes it even harder for the demon hunters to get in there and find him when they need to for their Class Hall campaign.
That's very cool.
I feel bad for Akama. He's had some rough times.
Yeah, well, in the Demon Hunter story, depending on who you chose as your second in command, depends on whether or not he has a nice time or a bad time.
Oh,
Let's just say that. Yeah.
so would you say that your green fire was the most difficult thing that you've collected, or has there been like a really rare mount or something that you've wanted to get that you haven't got yet?
So the most difficult thing that I've collected has actually been a real life collection, but still related to WoW. I recently finished off my collection of all the signed collector's edition boxes for all the different expansions. So I have vanilla through Legion. They've all been signed by Chris Metzen has signed a couple, Mike Morheim, just all the Blizzard devs.
That is amazing.
How did you get them signed? Just purchase them after they were signed, or?
So the vanilla one I had to purchase after it was already signed because I wasn't playing at the time. The rest, though, you just take them to BlizzCon, wait in line for a really long time.
Yeah. My collection is still missing a vanilla collector's edition, so but I don't think I'll ever get that. The longer I wait, the harder it is.
They're really hard to find. I still don't have the pet that comes from it because the signed collector's edition that I purchased, somebody had already used the code. So I have the pets from all the other ones, but not from vanilla.
Yeah, same. So, well, yeah, because I've seen the signed vanilla ones, and they look beautiful, especially with all the silver signatures on them, and they look really nice.
Yeah, the silver Sharpie pen, I think.
Yeah. So, is there anything on your collecting wish list?
Just the vanilla collector's edition pet, because by the time I started playing, you couldn't purchase the collector's edition anymore. It was already like a year into it or more. So it really bugs me that that's like the one thing that I don't have, you know?
Mm. I wish there was some weird way to go through the Blizzard store and click on your account and say like vanilla collector's edition, even if you had to pay like an amount of money, like you can with the upgrades that you could do for all the other and get the digital deluxe versions.
Mm-hmm.
That would be fun. Just having, because apparently those pets are quite overpowered for battling as well, I've heard.
Oh, I've never tried battling with them, but I think, it would be cool to be able to do that. At the same time, I realize why they don't, because then it wouldn't be something special.
Yeah, that's understandable.
So our last question to get to know you a bit better, and this is going to be tricky given how many mounts just came out in the game in the last week, but if you could make a mount of your own for the game, what would you make? What would it be?
So I was thinking about this question last night. I think if I could make one, I've always thought it would be kind of cool because I'm also a Harry Potter fan. So I think it would be awesome, especially as a warlock, to be able to transform into that like flying smoke like the Death Eaters do.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Oh, that's like the monk a glyph.
Oh, no, I imagine a bit more like, maybe even a bit like the way Reaper does it in Overwatch. Is that what you had in mind?
Yeah, just transform into like this ball of maybe like fell green smoke or something. That would be cool.
I fully support this.
Cool. That would be
awesome.
Cool.
So Blizzard, if you're listening, get on that.
You can have that one for free.
Yeah, we've had some really great suggestions for mounts people want to have in the game. I'm very impressed with everyone's creativity.
Definitely.
Well, thank you very much for answering our questions for us. We'll press on with what we've been up to in the last week. Spaz, how has your week been? Anything new? What's happened? Did you happen to get a class mount?
Yes.
Yay.
Not as many as I'd like, but yes. I have 3 waiting, and I've won 1.
Nice. Yep, your hunter is the one you've got?
Yes, I got my hunter one. The scenario that you do for it is absolutely perfect.
Yeah, no spoilers. No spoilers. No one's allowed to talk about their scenarios for their class
Not
mounts.
even the setting.
Nah, nothing. I don't want to hear
Okay.
it because they're like, because I'm gonna get them all, and there's some that like I'm gonna go for this week as well. So yeah,
Fair enough.
sorry.
Well, let me say this: it wouldn't have been possible previously
Okay.
because never mind. Maybe we'll talk about it next week then.
Yeah, let's try next week. Because some
yeah.
people wouldn't have even had a chance to get anything yet, so I don't want to spoil it.
Of course, that's fair.
But do you like your mount? Are you happy with it?
Yes, I like it a lot. It looks even better up close. I'm not a fan of the animation though.
The mounting up animation?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it.
Okay.
All you do is you put your hands to your mouth and you remember in Heart of Fear when you hit the gongs and the big golden circle would go out around you, making as if that's a sound.
Yep,
that would one of those would just come out from you, like you're yelling for it.
Okay.
It's not that great, to be honest.
It makes me think of how Link calls for his horses.
He whistles though.
Yeah, true. But he yeah.
But there is actually a yelling noise, and for the Night Elves, it's pretty much the same as the death noise, but not exactly.
Okay.
So it's I'm just not a fan. I love the mount though; it's awesome.
That's good.
And then
what are the others you've got lined up?
I have my priest and my monk ready.
Nice.
Ish. I need to do all of the breaching the tomb stuff on both of them, but I also need to get them geared up enough so that they can do it without getting squished. My priest is obviously a holy priest, so she'll need some more gear. And my monk is a brewmaster, and I cannot wait to get the monk mount.
Oh, yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
But in saying that, I also got a heroic campaign, the achievement for finishing 3 campaigns.
Nice. That's
Being
awesome.
those 3. Obviously, breaching the tomb, and finally improving on history. I have Thunder.
Awesome.
I'm so happy. The purple tint that you get straight away, it's so nice. I've been using the bow for so long. I'm just really don't like guns, but then I'm using it. I'm like, oh, it's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So what about you?
Let's get to Malefic because I'm going to not rant, but for a while because you know me. Malefic, how's your week been? Have you gotten anything new this week?
Or recently?
Class mount, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which one? What's your class?
The Warlock one's kind of boring, honestly. It's just a flying horse.
Was
it's
the
called
scenario
Netherlord's Chaotic Ratsteed. Yeah, it does leave little green footprints.
Was the scenario fun?
Yeah, it was. It was, well tailored to the class and stuff. It was a lot of fun. It took a lot less time than I expected, which was nice, but also kind of a letdown.
Oh, you wanted the scenario itself to go for a bit longer?
Yeah, it would have been nice. I think it took me maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the shaman
or maybe
one
just
didn't
more
take long
quests in the quest line. Maybe.
Oh, for the hunter one, we have to run all over
more
the place.
I think I ended up having to go to the auction house and then one area where I had to kill 20 demons or something, and then that was about it.
I had to actually use a flare.
Nice.
That's cool.
I had to actually use my class abilities, which is kind of funny.
Anything else new this week or lately that you wanted to mention?
Not really anything notable that I've collected. I'm hoping to get the orange color for my class mount because you unlock that when you get the concordance of the Legion Fall. So, and I'm 1 talent away from that. I need just a couple 100 million more.
Oh, nice.
So,
yeah.
Nice.
That's
I think I'm
next up
3
on the
levels.
list.
And I can tame lay feathers.
Nice. That one's going to be exciting. Well, for me, I got my shaman one, obviously, and I win because shaman mount is so freaking cool. Holy crap! Like, I just sometimes just sit there and stare at it because it's really pretty. And I like all three variants. So there's a fire one for elemental, and enhance have like an air looking one, and restoration have actually a lightning looking one. I expected it to be more watery, and so I'm kind of like water and lightning really don't mix very well, guys. But anyway, it's not safe. Not safe. Um, so I got the shaman one, and the scenario for that was really good. I didn't have to run around or anything, but some little boss fights and stuff, which was cool. And then I went and got my mage one, and I got the discs for her, and I really enjoyed that. I know that so many mages are unhappy with their mount because they don't like the flying disc, but I love it. I really love it, and I really enjoyed the quest line to get it all. There was so much more running around in that than there was with the shaman one, and it took a bit longer. So the mage one I thought was quite good. On Thursday, killed Mythical Dan. He is done. We have succeeded. We're very excited. Thor actually got the mount from Gul'dan, which was cool.
Oh, lucky.
Yeah, well, it was between, because the way that it was decided who would get the mythic mounts, because they're a guaranteed drop, it was going to be based on, because we do EP/GP for our loot, and EP is the currency for attendance and stuff, and so the people at the top of the list would get first dibs on the mount. And both of our tanks, Thor and our other tank, they were both at the top of the list with like perfect attendance. So they had to roll for it. And it was a pretty close roll, actually. But yeah, Thor got it in the end.
The people in the raid who should have perfect attendance are the tanks, of course.
Yeah, sure. Healers as well. But yes, you hope that the tanks do. So that's really cool, and we're hoping that we can get him down again this week so that the people who missed out on the kill can get the achievement. We don't know how we're going to go though because of the 7.2.5 stuff, the changes and whatnot, but we'll see how we go. Yeah. And then on Sunday, we're like, hey, we want to boost up our rankings on WoW Progress, so let's go kill Mythic Helya. And we got it all done in one night. It was really cool. Took about like 10 pulls in the end, I think.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and it was still really hard. Like, we were doing it, and we're like, holy crap, the people that did this before Nighthold came out, how? It was really rough. Although, having said that, I think we were facing different difficulties because the DPS was so much higher, and so it actually threw out the timings for so many things. And but yeah, anyway, so we did that. We had our farm night on Saturday, and I got from Gul'dan on Heroic a toy, the Golden Hearthstone card, Lord Jaraxxus, which I hadn't seen before. And
I didn't know it existed.
I didn't either. And I'm like, people are like, Cinder, you of all people should know that this exists. I'm like, I know, right? Like, how do I not know that exists? So anyway, you use it, and you turn into Jaraxxus, and you have like a little extra action buttons down the bottom, and you push them, and you get to make all these different yelling out noises, like I am Lord Jaraxxus and all of this stuff.
Oh, you get to as because of his card in Hearthstone.
He has one of his ones. Okay, so please understand that I love gnomes. I really, truly do. One of his buttons, though, is to taunt a gnome, and it's just hilarious. It's so funny. And we've only got one gnome left in our raid because everyone's so mean to them. So I went and found him, and I did the taunt gnome button, and it was so sad. But I still love him.
Yeah.
But it's a great toy. It was really good fun.
Yeah, because in Hearthstone, he's a Warlock class card, and when you play him, he replaces your hero with Jaraxxus.
Yeah.
And obviously does the you face Jaraxxus, Eredar Lord of the Burning Legion. Yeah. And that's his greeting.
Yeah, and one of them was like, Inferno! And all of this other stuff. Yeah. It was a really great little toy to get. I was pretty stoked with that, so yeah. And then the rest of my time was spent... so all the class mounts came out, and it's been amazing seeing them all flying around in Dalaran and stuff. But I am absolutely in love with the priest mount so much. I love it. I love it so much. So I'd been very casually leveling a little priest because I only have a Horde one and I didn't want to have to pay to transfer her over. So after seeing the class mounts, I'm like, yeah, she needs to be the next one that I get to max level. So I busted my butt getting her to level 60 over the weekend so that I could boost her to 100 just so I could get this class mount really soon. So yeah, now I have a level 100 priest and she's disciplined and she got her little artifact and yeah, I'm going to get that mount because I love it. It's so great.
Yes.
Anyway,
what race priest?
Night Elf.
Ah. Should have gone with Draenei.
Well, I have my mage is a Draenei, so I figure.
No,
No, she's not. My mage is a human. My paladin is a Draenei, and they're like my shaman, my paladin, and my mage are my three mains. So I'll have my paladin mount some point this week.
Nice.
Which I'm looking forward to, and hopefully I'll get the Ret one as well because I'm close to concordance on that one as well. So that'll be one of those, and then yeah, Night Elf priest after that. So. Anyway, that's my ramble. Had a good weekend. I'm really stoked that we got Gul'dan down. We're all really happy. So, and we get a new title and stuff, so that's really cool. So moving right along then, we'll go into our news, and there's a fair bit of news to get through because, surprise, surprise, 7.2.5 comes out tomorrow. Yay!
Yes. 7.2. That 2. I lost it.
Okay. So Wowhead has the 7.2.5 survival guide out. We'll put the link up to that in the show notes. And we're going to go through some of the stuff. Like I've just picked out the bits that our listeners are probably going to be more interested in than other things. There's still more than what we're about to talk about, and there's a lot here that we're going to talk about. So if there's anything, and we're not going to talk about it in detail, so if there's anything specific that our listeners would like to hear about in more detail, and we can do a special episode on it, please let us know because we want to talk about what you guys want to hear about. So I imagine that we'll, there's a few that I already have in mind that we should do, but if there's anything else that you guys want, please let us know.
Yes.
Do you want to take it away, Spaz?
Yeah, so with 7.2.5, class changes, new legendaries. There's a lot of them.
2 for each.
Yes. They also grant these new legendaries, the legendary rings, will grant you a specific talent for free, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at the Beast Mastery one, but I'm sure it's something decent. I'm not sure how they were chosen exactly, but I'm sure there's a lot of yay on one side and boo on the other for whether or not it's worth it. So
yeah, for Elemental Shaman and for Resto Shaman, it's actually the same talent for both classes because it's a shared one. It's one that on the line for both specs, it's always a highly contested, I really want to take this talent, but I maybe have to take this other one instead. Like, you're always tossing up between these two. And so this, like, for me, it means that I get to have 2 really awesome talents and don't have to make that choice anymore. So I'm really keen to get this ring. I think it's going to be, hopefully, it'll be good for Resto especially. So I'm hoping that it's similar for other classes where they, you have a tough time choosing between a couple of talents, and hopefully this gives you the one that you want.
Yes. For Hunters, Beast Mastery specifically, it gives us Bestial Fury, which is a straight-up damage boost. So, nothing fancy.
Extra damage is nothing to sneeze at.
True, it's 15% bonus damage while Bestial Wrath is active, so it's pretty good. Malefak, have you seen the Warlock Legendary Rings?
Yes, I have. It's obviously I play Demonology, so that's the talent that I'm looking at, and it similar to what Cinder was saying, it's one of those talents that you want to take, but sometimes there's a conflict and you have to not take it. The talent is Grimoire of Synergy, which makes it so that damage done by you or your demon has a chance to grant the other one 25% increased damage. So it's a pretty decent damage increase.
Nice.
Sounds pretty cool. Now, because loot has changed, Mythic Plus dungeons will be more difficult. So, those of you who've already done the Mythic 25, it's tougher. Go do it again.
I don't think that 25's out right now.
What was the one that happened a few weeks? Was it weeks or months ago? Was it 20 or 25 that a group of people hit? Whatever the top was. I can't remember
honestly,
off the top
I
of my
don't
head.
know because I do Mythic
Through Wowhead.
dungeons.
They talked about it through Wowhead.
Okay. There's quite a few changes though with the Mythic Dungeons. So some of my guilders have posted up this graphic that's kind of showing the difficulty of each level as you have it right now compared to how it'll be in 7.2.5. And there's it's a slight ramp up in difficulty, but the way that you get loot in the Mythic Pluses is changing as well. And your keys don't deplete if you don't meet the time requirement, which is really good. So. Yeah, there's a bunch of obviously more detailed information on Wowhead about what is happening with all of that. But yeah, just bear in mind that if you did a 10 last week, it's going to be a bit harder this coming week.
Yep. The next thing is obviously Black Temple Time Walking.
Yeah!
Which will come up when Burning Crusade Time Walking comes up.
Yay!
Now, in saying that, you can't queue for it. You do have to make your own group, which might be a little bit annoying. But
I reckon
obviously,
there'll be so many groups for this.
Yeah, that's true. And that's the thing, anyone from level 70 to 110 can participate, which I have a feeling if you're not 110 and well geared, most of the groups will be snobby and not let you in, which is going to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just hoping I can get into a group with my Demon Hunter to get the Warglaives.
Yeah.
Because
you've already got it, don't you?
Yes. Demon Hunters who've gotten the Warglaives of Azeroth any other toon can earn an achievement which will let them transmog their own Warglaives into the legendaries. Which is cool.
It is very cool.
Do we know if you need a full raid or does it scale?
I'm just looking. If you want to keep talking about the next stuff, I'm going to keep looking through and let you know.
No worries. Well, the next thing that's coming, which I am really interested in, is the Death of Chromie scenario. Now, there's a ton of rewards for this, and they have said flat out that no, you cannot beat it on the first attempt. Because you'll have no idea what's coming, and the point is, Chromie can rewind time, so therefore you will be able to have multiple attempts at it. And, you know, as you do it, you also receive reputation, basically, with Chromie. And once you get to the point of basically Exalted, getting an achievement, which then gives you the title of Time Lord.
I can't wait for that one.
Yes, it sounds freaking great.
Mm-hmm.
Up next, you have the Trial of Style, which is now technically live. These will up as originally it was meant to be a micro holiday, but they decided to make it in the rotation of like in-game calendar events that happen. So it will pop up a bunch, which is good. I like that. It's not going to be just like a once a year thing, or because the more you can do it, the better. Because the rewards are transmog pieces, so that'll be great.
Yeah,
for people who are missing transmog.
Just on the Black Temple time walking question for Tidget, I can't find anything that tells you how many people you need to have in the raid, which is a bit frustrating. So we will find that information and put it in our show for next week if we can find out by then.
Yeah, I believe I heard that it can scale groups, but I think there's a minimum and a maximum, obviously, but off the top of my head, I wouldn't know what that is.
No, me neither.
Now, are you excited for the new micro holiday, Cinder?
A couple, yeah. You could say so. I did note that I put quite a few exclamation marks next to this. Sorry. We've got the Moonkin Festival coming. Sorry, that's probably a bit loud, but I'm so excited because I really love little Moonkins. I'm hoping that they're like there's little baby ones and the dancing ones, and yeah, so I'm very excited about that. So Moonkin Festival will be coming as a micro holiday. They're also adding the Auction House Dance Studio, which is also going to be super cool, and an official in-game The Great Gnomeregan Race, which is in tribute to the Gnome Run that happens every year in October. The Gnome Run will still be happening separately. I don't know if they're going to do it on the same day that it happens in-game.
I believe so.
Yeah. But yeah, that's something to look forward to. Be really cool to do that as part of the new micro holiday.
Malefic, have you participated in the running of the gnomes before?
I have not. I've wanted to, but the timing has never lined up right for me. So, never have.
Yeah. Yeah, because the running of the trolls was the other day, wasn't it?
Yep, I've got a note down that at the bottom of this list.
So obviously there is the Auction House Dance Studio.
Yeah, that's going to be wicked.
That's just finally they're giving us a dance studio, I guess, so people can shut up about that and now move on to complaining about not having aerial battles, because that was on the back of Lich King, I think it was.
Aerial battles?
Yeah, I think on the back of the Wrath of the Lich King box, it actually said that there will be aerial battles.
Oh.
A lot of people took that as, oh, we can get on a mount, fly around, and attack people.
Oh.
Yeah, that was one of the promises. But we technically did that in Ice Crown, so yeah, kind of.
That makes me think of in Cataclysm, there was those quests where you were on the back of a birdie with a stick in your mouth and you had to poke some things. You had to kill dudes that were flying in the sky. And I was always so bad at it, I couldn't drive it very well. But if you did it, you got a pet out of it. I don't remember the name of it, and that probably didn't help explain anything for anyone. I apologize. Please continue.
Fair enough. Oh, that was in a cave, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, big red cave. I remember that, but I don't. Can't think of what it was called. Actually, I think it was a reference to Joust, the very old video game.
Oh, okay.
I'm remembering.
Yeah, I couldn't drive it. It's too hard.
Yes. Well, the Dark Moon Fair has a new band, which is pretty cool.
This is going to be really cool. This is one of the ones that I want us to do a whole episode on, by the way, if that's okay.
Fair enough. Put it in the other document.
It's on the list.
Okay, perfect. And then now the Midsummer Fire Festival. How soon is that?
Very soon, which is why I think we'll talk about it in detail when it comes closer.
Fair enough. There is a new pet and a new toy. So we'll cover
Cinder
later.
needs the toy. Cinder needs the toy. Can I tell you what the toy is?
I'm assuming it's something to do with fire.
Yes, it is, but it's so ridiculous.
Because of the event and your name.
Yep. It's a box of matches to set yourself on fire.
Okay.
I'm not
Fair
even
enough.
joking.
Fair enough.
Anyway, sorry, I just thought that was hilarious and I've got to get one of them.
What happens if you use that and then mount up on your fiery elemental?
I don't know, but like as a restoration shaman who is using water to heal things, I don't know, I just feel like I'm going to be like a steam bath instead.
Have you not stepped on a campfire?
Yes, and it burns.
Yeah, your biscuits are burning.
I know. Yes.
Yep. And the appearance tab will now include holiday items, which you'll be able to transmog during those holidays. Which is cool.
I'm so excited about that as well.
They will never take away my Santa hat. It is in my bag, and my monk will put it on from time to time and run around and annoy Sirius.
Just for funsies.
Yeah, it's really funny. I like it a lot. Actually, Malefic, are there any weird transmog items that you have or use?
What do you mean by weird, I guess?
Well, when it's not Christmas, I put on a Santa hat, so that's about as weird as it gets for me.
I do have the I forget what it's called. It's the pumpkin head one that you get from the Headless Horseman. I throw that on every once in a while, so except it's I think it's like a level 1 helm, so it'd be nice to be able to transmog that instead of have to put the actual item on.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I see, because I really love the holiday outfits. And the time that I'd want to wear them the most is during raids and stuff. And it always bugged me that I could never do that. So I'm really looking forward to having a pumpkin head in raid. That's going to be great.
Yeah. I think they need to loosen up the restrictions with the holiday transmog.
Well, that's what they're doing. Like, they'll all be added into the tab. So the only restriction that they're having now is that you can only do it during the holidays. But I'm like, well, that's fair enough. As long as I can transmog into it, I'm happy.
I see. Now, Cindy, you played at the previous Pet Battle Dungeon, correct?
Mm-hmm. I haven't done it for a little while, but yes, I've completed it, and I have a bet.
Now, did you get the hint? And did you follow the clues to the Dead Mines?
I will do so when the Dead Mines one is there, but yes. I'm excited about this. I love that there's another one so soon.
Yeah, I'm curious what the schedule is for the rest of them, implying that there is a finite amount. But I'm curious what the rollout times are for them, like how many there are, how far ahead they are with them, that kind of thing.
Yep, agreed. I'm excited about it. So yeah, next Pet Battle Dungeon is in Dead Mines, and there are a whole bunch of new pets coming as a result of that, which is very cool.
Yep. Now, in regards to rank 3 recipes,
oh my god,
everything is significantly increased in drop rate.
Is it weird that I'm so extremely excited about this?
Yes.
Well,
no.
Okay.
No. Sorry. No. I'm excited about this too.
Yeah, there's still 4 mining things that I don't have at level 3. And I've been mining heaps because there's like mining nodes all over the Broken Shore, and I've practically been living there, and I still haven't got a bunch of those rank 3s, so I'm very excited about this.
Just still waiting for the price of gems to go down.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's unlikely to happen. Although with this, it might happen because the rank 3 means that you'll get more ore for every node that you get, but the rate of gems coming out of mining bits is really not great.
Yeah. And lastly, there are new heirlooms that go to 110. And a way to upgrade heirlooms to 110, and heirlooms that allow you to share your flight paths with your alts. That's actually
so
really
exciting.
Cool.
Yeah,
really helpful as well.
There's so many other things that we haven't talked about in this list. The Wowhead Survival Guide has all of that in detail and more, including a bunch of collecting stuff that we haven't talked about, but we will talk about obviously in the future in other episodes as well. So check it all out. They're all like, oh, it's such a small patch, but I'm like, well, okay, but this is still a lot of stuff. I'm pretty excited.
Just because content's not dropping doesn't mean that things aren't changing.
There's a scenario coming out of this, and a whole bunch of micro holidays and updates to existing things that we already have, and I don't know, I think it's a lot bigger than people are giving it credit for.
Yeah, people are expecting a raid tier, not getting that. It's smaller than we want.
We get 2 in a week.
Exactly. Now, Malefic, did you check out the dev Q&A last week?
I unfortunately did not have a chance to watch that one.
Fair enough. Well, we've got a quick little recap of it. Upcoming in the future, there'll be some class-based AMAs on Reddit. actually sound really cool, as long as they ignore all the silly questions, which I'm sure they'll do because they do that for every Q&A anyway. Class mounts will be available after Legion, so there's no stress or pressure to get them right now, which is great for people with an army of alts.
Which to me that implies, hopefully, implies that your artifact will, like, obviously you're going to have your artifact for the Legion content anyway, but you'll still be able to upgrade it to get concordance, to get that achievement, to get the different skins as well. So I'm looking I'm looking forward to that. That's good.
Yep. We can assume as much, I guess. Sadly though, the legendary cap is staying at 2. Which I guess I'm not extremely bummed about, but it would be funny to see a character with every possible legendary available to them running
Reddit.
around.
There's something on Reddit from some dude who did some hacks and managed to equip 11 of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some, I want to say it was an Asian guild maybe, where several of their raiders were raiding with multiple legendaries.
How? Oh, yeah. It's very naughty. Very naughty. Don't do that, people.
Well, you know what legendary they then got from Blizzard?
A legendary boot?
Banhammer.
That's better, yeah.
So, the Trial of Style Transmog event will have rewards. And those rewards will be... I think some people have data mined that they're tokens that you can trade in for transmog stuff.
I think so, yeah.
Possible... I think someone mentioned from content that may not exist anymore.
I don't know about that specifically, and I'm not saying that you're wrong about that at all. I don't know about that, but I had heard something about it being appearances that at least already exist in the game. Yes. So it could just, if you're trying to fill a gap in your wardrobe, that could be a great way to fill it.
I think I heard someone mention old Nax, like old Naxxramas, that only 1% of people saw, and apparently there's a bunch of gear in there that literally no one has. And so I think
isn't that what they sell on the black market auction house though? Like, it'd be pretty sad to be forking out tens of thousands of gold getting that gear.
Actually,
and then
maybe
you can get it with tokens. Don't know.
Maybe.
The Wowhead post actually says the rewards for Trial of Style are Burning Crusade sets.
Ah, there you go.
And then the Chromie rewards are old Wrath gear.
That'd be cool.
There you go. Thank you very much.
Yep. Now, they have specified that Hunter, bows, and guns will not get weapon illusions. And all the hunters out there went, meh. Because our weapons already have enough effects on them. Titan Strike makes enough lightning in all of its different forms. Talon Strike has a bunch of effects on it anyway, so they're all not too big a deal in regards to the legendaries, but it would be nice to put fire on some of the old transmog weapons that I have, but I'm not too fussed, to be honest. Now, Cinder, Titanforge. How are you happy about this?
Oh yeah, no, this makes sense. So items will be able to Titan Forge higher to Mythic Tomb gets released. So that's just because a higher eye level of gear will be unlocked when Mythic Tomb comes out. So everything has the chance to go up super high. And as much as people go, oh yeah, well that's never going to happen. One of my guildies got in LFR a 915 eye level piece from LFR, which is, mythic level right now. So it was pretty insane. Yeah, we're all just like, dude, super hacks, super hacks. But yeah, it's absolutely possible. You just Thor the other day, one of one of the tokens that he got. I feel like it was a no, I can't remember what it was exactly, but it was one of those ones that's always a really low base level. And that one went up to like 905, I think, off the top of my head. And that was like a 60 eye level increase on its base, which is just amazing. So, you know, as much as people go, oh, that's never going to happen for me, it could happen to you.
It could.
It could. And also, speaking of raids, the Tomb of Sargeras raiders we were talking about, so that will open, the normal difficulty will open on the 20th, which is next week, and the mythic difficulty will open on the 27th. The raid achievement for doing all of the little achievements in there will reward a title, the Tomb Raider, instead of a mount, which is something different. Look, the Tomb Raider is a cool title.
But it's not a mount.
But it's not a mount, yeah. There is still a mount that can drop in there, so don't worry, you haven't missed out on anything. I guess I'm disappointed because I was really hoping that, you know, that arcane bird that we start on the Broken Shore with, you know, the beautiful purple, blue crow, storm crow type model. Yeah, I was hoping that would be something, and a reward from something related to Tomb, but no luck.
Well, it might still be some time in the future, but we don't know.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I really
Legion time walking.
Yeah, maybe that's too far away.
Yeah, that's true. I don't want to make that much of a prediction.
Yeah.
And hate myself when I'm right.
And this is the last little bit from the dev Q&A. We talked about it before, that the Deaths of Chromie scenario is going to be available for you to do whenever you want to do it. So it's not time-gated or anything. You can do it as many times as you like. It doesn't cost you anything. But there are benefits to waiting a day or so between your attempts because, as Spaz mentioned before, there's going to be a reputation type thing associated with it that will only increase on like a daily or every couple of day basis. So this is another one that I'd like us to do a full episode on in the future to have a chat about because, it sounds really interesting. I actually haven't looked at any of it. I kind of don't want to. I want to go in blind
on my first run
as
well. I'll go in blind on my first run. And then I'll study this.
Yeah, and then I'll go, why did I only last 1 minute? This sucks. But they did do a walkthrough after the dev Q&A. So if you are curious about it and you want to see what you're in for, you can go check that out. And obviously Wowhead have their guide up about the scenario as well from what they've done so far. Just to wrap up the news quickly, this week is Mr. Pandaria time walking. So if you've been saving up your time walked badges for your Green Cloud Serpent mount, now is the time to get it. Go get it. Get it. Don't forget. Get it.
And send us a picture.
Yeah, and send us a picture.
And make me very jealous.
Yeah, well, no, I haven't. Okay, yeah. Malefic, do you do micro holidays all that much? Do you get much time to do those?
Unfortunately, no, I don't.
It's hard to time. Yeah, it's hard to time it as well, isn't it? When they're only up for a couple of days. Did you get to do boat day, Spaz?
Sadly, no.
I didn't either.
Wonderful video that Thist posted.
Oh my god, I laughed so hard.
I am glad I was at home when I watched it because if I was on the train or at work, people would have looked at me like I was an idiot. Well, most people do that anyway, but, you know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, boat day happened. It looked really fun. I'm sad that I missed it, but I didn't get to do it. I didn't have the time, unfortunately. Next year. And also over the weekend, we were talking about it before, but the running of the trolls happened over the weekend. This was to raise money for the Trevor Project, which is a non-profit group that is focused on suicide prevention among lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, questioning, and other youth. The goal for the run was to raise $2,000, and instead they raised $2,692, which is absolutely awesome. And I'm bringing it up because if you would like to donate to this, you still can. The donations tab is still available. So we'll pop a link in the show notes so that you can go check that out and make a donation if you would like to do so. But do check out the pictures. I'm hoping to have a blog post up later this week because I went along to it. It was lots and lots of fun.
Yes, I saw all the pictures.
Yeah, sorry, I got a bit carried away. But there was I got to hang out with Moo and Natani and Miggy. It was really good.
Yes.
It was really good fun.
And actually, come to think of it, I was actually on the Chaos Portal only hours before it
Oh
happened.
no! Well, because
I totally forgot to mention that earlier. I was on the Chaos Portal as a guest,
Yay!
and
How was it?
it was really fun. It was crazy. Afterwards, I ended up spending about half an hour on their Minecraft server that they have. They have a giant Chaos Portal in the middle of their server as well, which is really funny.
That's awesome.
And then I logged out of that and I went to go make some food, but I never actually stood up. I was asleep in my chair.
Oh no!
Because I had to get up at 5 that day, and I fell asleep in my chair.
Oh dear.
And then I woke up and saw all the pictures of the run, and so I was like, oh, bugger.
Yeah. Well, that massively long news segment, so apologies, guys.
And that's the end of the show?
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that's going on this week. So, and, you know, like I said, we haven't talked about everything. We will put a link up to the 725 news and for the dev Q&A if you want to go check that out. So, yeah, keep an eye out for that. Our main topic today is about Mythic content. And Spaz, this was something that you wanted to do a show about. Talk to me. Tell me why.
I have not experienced any Mythic content myself. So I've always been curious. Obviously, there's a big difference between Bleeding Edge and Mythic. Obviously, Bleeding Edge are the people who are there first and spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and don't sleep to try and get the content finished first. I'm just curious what attracts both of you to pushing all the way through to Mythic? Is it you looking to do it, or is it you plus the people around you pushing you as well, or is it what exactly? Am I making sense, Cinder?
Mm-hmm. You are. Malefic, you go first because I've talked a lot.
Okay. So the main attraction for me is just the challenge of it, I guess. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I'm a computer engineer by trade. So I really like to see the encounter design and kind of pick it apart and break it down into different sections, different phases, and work out how to solve each one. But apart from that, excuse me, sorry. Apart from that, a lot of the people that play at the Mythic level tend to be more mature and serious about the game. So you don't get like the kind of the mouthy or the people or the trolls like you do in LFR and normal raids, and that you'll get sometime in pugs. And you don't really have as many toxic players. They're just not tolerated at that level. You know, if people don't like playing with you, then they'll just boot you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very much the same way. For me, I like doing mythics because it's hard, and I like challenging content. Like, as much as I like going into places and killing them really easily, that's really fun, and there's something really cool and empowering about being able to do that. But I like getting my face kicked in repeatedly, apparently. I think for me, it's more about, it's not about the rewards or anything. The rewards are just a nice bonus. I like that there is this goal that we have to achieve. And in order to achieve it, we have to do X, Y, and Z in a particular order. And these things need to happen at this point. And it just turns into this really big dance that everyone has to do properly. And then when you do, you win. And that's really cool.
So, were you a fan of the personal responsibility thing?
Oh, yes.
So,
yes.
If one person's messed up one thing, wipe.
Yeah.
I don't remember what tiers or what actual fights they were across. There was a lot of I did everything perfectly, but that person stepped left 2 times instead of 3, and that wiped the raid 3 minutes into the fight. What the hell, Blizz? Like, I don't remember when that was. Was that an issue for you guys?
Malefic?
I mean, it does happen, um, but I guess not as often as you would think. And the thing is, it does happen to everyone. Like even the best player on the team can miss an interrupt or forget to move to a specific spot when they need to. And usually when you're doing this content with other people, you do it so much because you have to attempt it over and over and over again that you become really close as a team, as a raid team. And so there's not really, this person screwed up because they wiped the raid. I don't know, it's kind of hard to describe, I guess. Maybe Cinder can put it into words better than I can.
I think what you're emphasizing is just how different guilds can be, actually, because, like, in ours, and I guess especially on having just done Gul'dan, that took longer than it should have for us, and it took longer because of some really stupid things that people did, and I think the thing about Mythic difficulty is that it can be most of the time very unforgiving of mistakes, which is kind of the point, really, isn't it? Like it's supposed to be hard. You don't want to be able to have a series of errors and still be able to win at the end, because you're kind of like, well, that's a little bit too easy. It has to be challenging. And so in some guilds, if you've got the same person messing up over and over again to the same mechanics, unfortunately, they will more than likely get sat. I know that they do in our team, because we can't afford to spend the time and the resources. Like, it costs a lot to raid. The cost of food and flasks and augment runes especially, oh my goodness, it's a pretty costly thing to do. And so if you're wiping because somebody's making the same mistake over and over again, then chances are they'll be asked to sat. But I mean, maybe you guys are much nicer than us, Malefic, and you'll tolerate more. But yeah, we tend to sit people that don't perform properly.
I can understand that. In that regards.
It's not wanting to be or anything. I mean, I guess like the whole point of rating at the level that we're wanting to do it at is that we have that specific goal, and we don't want to spend time wasting it by making the same mistakes.
Of course,
obviously you can make mistakes will happen all the time, obviously, absolutely. It's more about when you're not learning from those mistakes and not progressing as a result. That's the point where we go, okay, and especially if it's multiple people, we'll just go, okay, you know what, we're just going to call it there because we're not learning anything. Everyone's too tired. We're just going to pack it in and we'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, when my guildmates and I were doing the Destiny raids back in the very first raid, the Vault of Glass, there was it's a 6-man raid, and we were on so many of the fights, got to the point where we had done them over and over and over again. It was just like, all right, go to the room. 1, 2, 3, left-hand side. 1, 2, 3, right-hand side. You back, you forward, that left,
go
right. Exactly. And it got to the point where, even if one person was just like, oh crap, I missed this thing, everyone else would just be like, don't worry, got it, turn around and do in this case, shoot a rocket launcher to kill something that they weren't able to kill quick enough, or, run, give them a shield of some kind, make sure they don't die. And I understand the bit with, people not pulling their weight. With us, there was only the 6 of us, so we kind of were as weak as our weakest link. But we did get through a lot of it, which was great. Yeah. So, what's been the most challenging across all the content you've done?
Malefic, you go first.
Across all the content I've done, that's a tough question. I'd have to think about that. But as far as the current content, probably anything with a lot of mechanics. I think that's the piece that makes Mythic rating difficult because, I mean, the bosses have more health and they hit harder, but it's the mechanics that always seems to wipe my team.
Yeah, the first
so I
thing
guess
that comes
maybe
to my mind is Dragons of Nightmare.
Scenarios.
Scenarios?
yeah, Cenarius, or maybe like Spellblade or Gul'dan, but definitely Cenarius is up there as well. Anything with crazy mechanics that there's just stuff going on all the time.
Fair enough. So, how would you prepare for a mythic? Like, how do you prepare for your mythic content? Obviously, I'm assuming it's a lot of reading and watching videos. Actually, I should have asked Malefic, have you been in the same raid team? Or do you hop around? Have you hopped around a little?
I've been in 2 raid teams this expansion. I had to leave the first one just for scheduling issues, and I've been on my current team since the beginning of this raid, I believe.
Fair enough. And so, what's the expectation of like preparedness?
Definitely, you have to know the fights. You know what is going to happen in the different phases. Know when those are. Know what the mechanics are going to be, and it's so different from back in vanilla Burning Crusade. You have so many people on YouTube that make guide videos and things like that. There's not really an excuse to come unprepared to a mythic raid anymore.
So, for both of you, do your teams go sort of blind into normal, or do you do mythic research before you even step into normal? Or do you use normal and heroic to like memorize the basic things?
My team progresses through normal and heroic before attempting mythic. It's just we think it's a good way to learn the mechanics and learn the fights because each difficulty kind of builds on the one before it. So it's easier to do that than to try and learn everything all at once and just do mythic.
Yeah, we're the same. We everyone's expected to have looked at guides and stuff beforehand. So watching Fat Boss guides or whatever, or reading whatever you have to look at, you have to look at it. You can't go into it blind. We don't go blind into normal or heroic either. People are expected to at least know what the mechanics kind of are. But we still use that as a learning experience to get to know the fights the same way as Malefic was just saying. And I think for me as well, it's a subconscious thing as well, rather a psychological thing. When you progress on Mythic, or I know for us, I'm Malefic. I'm guessing that you're at a higher team than I am. If you've already done Mythic Gul'dan.
Have not down Mythic Gul'dan
Okay.
yet, unfortunately.
No, that's okay. That means that we're pretty similar level then because we've only just done it. So for me, I know especially we've been bashing our heads against Mythic bosses for a while. We were getting down at one new one every week, and then you hit the roadblocks with like Botanist was a roadblock for us, and Elisand wasn't too bad, but Gul'dan especially. So we've had quite a few weeks of really slow to get kills. So going into a new raid and starting out on normal, to a degree, because we'll have like relatively high gear, you can kind of cheese some of it, and it's very satisfying getting a whole bunch of new kills in quick succession. So it really ramps up like morale, I think. But maybe that's just me.
So do you find the like bosses that you somehow like you start on the first boss, say 25 attempts, and then you one shot the second and third, and then you move on to the fourth? Is that sometimes disappointing on Mythic? Or do you come out feeling like we did that perfectly, so we deserve that kill? Kind of thing.
I don't think that I have ever one-shot a Mythic boss.
Fair enough.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, it's hard. Like yeah, I don't think that it would happen on Mythic. If it did, like so for example, for us we got the first three bosses down, I think, on Mythic on the same night or the same two nights in quick succession. Because the first three were much easier than the rest were, obviously. And for us, we just felt that getting those kills relatively quickly meant that we had done really good preparation and we had learnt what we needed to learn in those earlier attempts on the lower difficulties. Would you agree, Malefic? Are you guys the same way?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the first three, especially in current raid tier, weren't terribly difficult. I don't think we one-shot Scorpion, but we might have two-shotted it.
Well done. Nice.
Well, we'd already done normal and heroic, so
Yeah.
there's not a whole lot different on Mythic, but at least for that boss. I would agree with your statement. I don't know if it's just us being cocky as a team, but we felt like we must have just prepared really well, which may have been true. Maybe it was a little undertuned. It's hard to say, really.
I think the flip side of that as well is when you start wiping with no explanation whatsoever on bosses that you've had on farm for weeks. Like, I don't know, sometimes I think because maybe we do get a bit cocky and you kind of don't do things properly and you fall over and wipe. Yeah, we went, yeah. I don't know. Maybe that's just us.
Definitely.
Okay, cool.
No, that definitely happens.
How many wipes in do you get before you start to think maybe we've got our strat wrong? If there are like multiple strats for a boss.
It's a very controversial question.
No, because I've always heard like there are multiple ways. There are multiple ways to deal with mechanics and stuff. It's like, how many times do you do it, and like you get to the point where you're just like, clearly this version is not working. We should probably try the other one. Or is that more of a rate?
I think it depends on where in the encounter the wipe happens. So if it happens early on or maybe midway through, then I think our team is more apt to try a different approach. But if you're wiping at 1 or 2% on the boss, we'll typically stay with our strategy a lot longer.
Of course.
Yeah, and it is, for our team in particular, it is a raid lead decision. The structure of our raid team is that we have a raid lead, and then we have class leads, role leads. So we've got a healing lead and a tanking lead and a DPSing lead, and they make up the officer team. And so they amongst themselves will have the arguments that we're probably all having in our own heads when we feel like something's not working. And there will come a point that, like it did with Gul'dan, especially, one of our sticking points was when the best time was for us in particular to use hero, because it doesn't matter what guides will say, if your team makeup isn't the same as what's being used in a Fat Boss video, for example, and you don't have the same DPS output or the same raid awareness as what's happening in those videos, you're going to get a slightly different outcome, and you're always going to need to make adjustments because of that. So for us, we were like, okay, we'll do a use hero on the pull in the beginning part, or do we use it in phase 3 to push through to get Illidan down, or do we save it for when Illidan does come down, or do you try and get 2 heroes in the pull? Like you can only start adjusting once you've done it quite a few times, but I don't think there's a set number. I think it does, as Malefic said, it comes down to how you feel you're progressing with the current strat. And if you've been bashing your head on the same strat for like a solid night and you've not had any progression whatsoever, that's kind of when you're going to want to go away and go, okay, maybe this isn't working for us. How do we change it?
That's fair. So do you guys have any advice you'd want to give for players who are looking to get into Mythic raiding, other than the obvious quote from the Big Bad Wolf, which is, "Run away, little girl, run away"?
What do you think, Malefic?
So my advice would be, if you already have a raid team and they're all interested in doing mythic raiding, then it's easier than if you're the only one that wants to do it, because in that case you have to find a new raid team. But make sure, I guess number one, make sure you know the fights. Fat Boss Guides, Line of Sight Gaming on YouTube are good resources there. Just make sure that you can play your class at the highest level. And what I mean by that is make sure you know how to use all of your abilities. Because in Mythic Raids, you'll usually use maybe all but one or two of your abilities instead of just, your DPS rotation. You're going to have a lot more of those utility spells that you use. Also, learn how to make and use macros is really important. Let's think. What else? Add-ons. If you're not using add-ons, you should have some type of boss timers. I use DBM.
I think DBM is like a stock standard must-have for everyone at this point.
Yeah,
or some
definitely.
variant of, yeah.
It's just
Big
so
wigs.
helpful. Let you know when the big cooldown moments are coming and things like that. Also, though, I think you need to understand your stats. Your haste and all those other stats. You need to know what they do, what their weights are. Which is more important than the other. If you have any breakpoints on those stats, you need to know how to gem and enchant your gear. And
That's a whole nother episode in itself.
Oh,
it really is.
But
it
he's
really
right.
is. And at the mythic level in particular, you should be using Simcraft as a guide for, your gems and enchants and things like that, rather than just relying on what Icy Veins tells you. You should know how to use Simcraft and know how to test out different builds, because it'll be specific to your actual character.
Yeah. And obviously don't expect to just use the same talents on every fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you'll be switching them up a lot, particularly in the Nighthold. Oh, and if you're not already running some type of logs, make sure you do that, because you'll be able to go back after the fact and look and see kind of how you're performing. And if you upload it to Warcraft logs is the one that I use, it'll actually, you can compare yourself to similarly geared, warlocks or hunters or whatever you play. And so you can kind of get an idea there of where you stand and how much you need to improve before you start looking at a mythic raid team.
Yeah. How close to a robot pressing buttons are you in your rotations, basically?
I think
Right, yeah.
just to add to what Malefic is saying, like all of that stuff, hands down. I think one of the other things is if you haven't done mythic content before, if your raid team is going, yeah, we're very good at getting through heroic and we have that on farm for a long time, we want to try some mythic raiding. The biggest difference is, and the thing to be prepared for, is lots and lots of wipes and not getting upset about wiping a lot, because wiping helps you learn. So as long as you're learning from your wipes, be prepared for a fair bit of it. Don't let it get you down. Let it help you improve to get the kill in the end. I think some people kind of don't realize just how often you die and how big your repair bills can get. So yeah, just to keep that in mind, I think, and have a good team relationship for the environment that you're going into, because it is it can be quite stressful, and if you've got personalities that conflict, they kind of get a bit amplified in a more stressful situation like this. So yeah, they're just the mental things that I'd say be prepared for with mythic raiding.
Yeah. Now, just the last two things I wanted to ask you guys. Do you have a favorite mythic boss or a favorite mythic sort of raid in general that you've taken down?
favorite Mythic raid boss in Legion, I really like Star Augur. I just like switching between phases. The mechanics are interesting, but they're not overly hectic. And just
Is that camera still as annoying on Mythic as it is on normal?
it's more so. It's more
Yeah,
so
it's so
because you have more mechanics that you can't see. But I'm kind of a lore nerd as well, so it's really interesting from that perspective.
Oh, I
If
love
we're
that
talking,
fight. Definitely.
it's
The first
it's
time
awesome.
I saw
It's beautiful too. The
Is
first
there
time
an
I ran
extra
it, I
phase on
think I
Mythic for
just
her?
stared at the sign, or at the sky rather, the whole time.
Yeah.
Does she have an extra phase? Does the room collapse a fourth time on Mythic? Or is there just more of other things?
On Star Augur, it's been so long since I've done normal, I don't remember, to be honest.
It's more of other things. In Mythic, there's an ability where people get allocated with a star sign, and you have to run to the person that has the same star sign as you. However, you cannot run into somebody who does not have your star sign. Otherwise, that's one of those one player can mess up and cause a wipe for the entire raid situations.
Oh,
So
that's
the
stealing.
difference.
So they're just stealing mechanics from the trial dungeon.
Well, yeah, and Mythic Odin in that way as well. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think my favorite one for Nighthold is I really like Spellblade. For some reason, I didn't think that I would, but I actually ended up really enjoying that one, and I really loved the Gul'dan fight as well. But maybe that's
Spellblade's
just because
the one around the fountain, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That never seemed like a boss to me when I'm running it on, like, when I was running it in pugs on normal. It's like, okay, we're killing trash. Okay, we're killing trash. Okay, that trash gave me a purple item. Okay,
Yeah.
was that a boss? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, never mind. Let's keep moving. So,
Do you have a favorite raid overall, Malefic?
If we're talking like the older expansions when Mythic wasn't a thing, but they had heroic, then
yes.
my favorite bosses would have to be, and honestly, it's a total toss-up, either Yogg-Saron or Kael'thas. Those were both really fun fights.
Nice.
Yeah.
They were
I
all
think
before my time, so I don't know.
Yeah.
One of my favorites is so lame. Every time I say this, it's so lame. But one of my favorites was, again, because Mythic didn't exist until the end, but was Malkorok in Siege of Orgrimmar. On the heroic difficulty, he had these extra abilities. It had healing mechanics in it, and I like that. As a healer, I like that there's something in there specifically for me to do other than, play whack-a-mole with my healing frames. So.
Oh, like the toilet boss in Siege of Orgrimmar.
The toilet boss. Oh, Immersius?
Yeah, the first boss. Yeah.
No. No. We do not talk about Immersius.
What about Hans and Franz?
Love Hans and Franz.
They were fun.
They're good fun. I like that fight too, actually, on Mythic. Really good fun.
If you didn't get sick from it.
Thankfully, I didn't.
Yeah.
Honestly, Warlords had a lot of really good raid design. I mean, it gets bashed on a lot for other stuff, but the raid design was pretty decent in that expansion.
Yeah, it was. So what do you guys think of Mythic only phases? And sort of like Mythic only or heroic. I'm sure there was a heroic only back before Mythic existed. Like, what do you think of those phases? Are they interesting? Are they should they be added to a lower difficulty so others can see them at like a tame version, or what do you think?
I'm curious about this from you, Malefic, as well, because for me, it comes more down to lore stuff that happens that you only see if you do the Mythic difficulty of things. Because I never got to do Mythic in Perrin and Margok, for example, and I never got to see that stuff with Cho'Gall. So yeah, just be curious about what you think about it.
Yeah, so it's one of my main, I guess, hang-ups, if I do have any. Anything lore related that is gated behind a mythic only barrier, I don't feel super great about it. Recently, with Blizzard releasing like cutscenes on YouTube, it's a little bit better, but
Yeah.
I think they still need to be careful, and they need to also make sure that it's not a regular occurrence. So the end boss of every raid shouldn't have like a mythic only phase or something. But then on the flip side, I do think it's a nice, it's an extra nod to players that raid at that level, because
Yeah.
it's nice to have something other than just more difficult bosses. It's nice to have, whether it's an extra boss at the end of Lei Shen where you can fight Raden, or an extra phase like on Archimond.
Yeah, I was
It's
just going to
nice to
say,
have
like, I felt
something
like,
else to look forward to.
yeah, well, I felt like Archimonde was a really good way of doing that extra phase without it feeling like you were missing out on story. So it wasn't really a lore thing. It's just kind of, you got to the end and he's like, oh, we're going to do this extra bit instead. Whereas with Gul'dan, for example, Illidan's there, and that's a big deal. Like, that's a character that we all know and have history with, and I feel has a bit more of a story impact. And the same with Margok and Cho'Gall coming out in the mythic only one. That's story, that's lore, and it seems a bit unfair to be there. But Archimonde was like, here, let's just go to a different platform for part of this fight. I feel like they could do it that way.
I thought that was a really well done encounter.
Yes.
Because you did have that
Yeah,
extra
cool.
piece, and so on Mythic you were like, oh, this is this is special. This is something that I get to see because I'm rating at this level. But at the same time, like you say, there wasn't a huge hole in the story. Basically, you just
Yeah.
you found out that you killed him in the Twisting Nether, which, I mean, it's kind of important from a lore perspective, but it was a minor detail, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I agree. Does that help you, Spaz?
Yes,
Is that
yes,
kind
yes,
of
it
stuff you wanted
does.
to know? I
Yeah,
love raiding
definitely.
mythics.
I mean,
Like it's hands down, raiding is my favorite thing to do in game. It has been for a really long time, and it will be for a very long time. Like I sacrifice a lot of things to be able to raid, and there's a reason for it, and that's because it is incredibly satisfying. And I get to hang out with some really cool people for quite a bit of time each week. But you get to hang out and you do this difficult stuff together, and you get the rewards at the end, and it's really good fun. It's really great fun. So I'd highly recommend, if people are getting through heroic content well, give it a go. Even if you only do the first boss on Mythic, like usually the first boss of a raid tier is at a good level of introducing people into a Mythic difficulty, if you've not done it before. So give it a go. Tomb could be the time that you start getting mythics down.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I would echo everything that you've just said.
Cool. So now, I mean, that's really all the questions I had, and I'm glad we could get your perspectives on it. Now, in regards to everything else, we had a lot of feedback
Oh my
in
god.
regards to our class mount discussion.
My tweet deck broke.
Yeah,
I
was
couldn't-
trying to.
I couldn't get them all.
I've been trying to update the tweets, but it's just there's so many. We thank everyone for everything, and I do apologize if, like, I start poking and prodding people jokingly about certain things. I tried and tag myself by tweet from the Reins account, just so people know it's me, at least. But we got a ton of tweets. Just wanted to thank Lagging Balls, the Gold Queen, Realm Maintenance for all the shoutouts that we've been getting. That's great. Speaking
Thank
of,
you.
tentatively, not next week, but the week after, we may be having another guest.
It's shiny?
a previous guest.
Shiny.
So that'll be cool. So let's see if up first we have Marathol, sorry, who says, I get a flat-faced old cat thing with wings. Now, is that the priest?
I don't know actually. Yes,
I can't tell if it's priest or druid.
Yeah.
Because Azeroth Roundtable were talking about the druid one, and they were just calling it owl-faced birdman.
I love it.
Because it's a kind of thing. So I don't know which one he's talking about. I'm not actually sure what class he plays.
Yeah, I think it's the priest one.
Possibly. And then Dragon Ray responded and said, I fucking adore that mount. Fair enough. We have Vic Baldry, who replied to a post you made, Cinder, saying that your shaman mount looks amazing.
Yay!
And he boosted a shaman for that reason.
Good. Really excited for you.
Cheryl did tweet at us saying Mount 226, the High Lord's Golden Charger, and the quest was full of nostalgia.
Nice. So, that's really cool.
That's really cool. I can't wait to get around to all of the mount quests. I hope there's a lot of stuff that I catch, even if I haven't been playing that class, and knowing all of the class players, like the big players in the grand scheme of the classes. Like, hopefully I get to catch most of that stuff. The Gold Queen also tweeted at us, saying that I've always secretly longed for this mount with pygmies, and I believe that's a picture straight out of Asterix and Obelix, with a gentleman standing on a shield that's being carried around. And
I love it. It's so good.
Yes, I would love that one. Do you want to take the next couple?
I would love that to be a quest or something of some sort where you just get to lord it over people and they carry you all around on some kind of thing.
I can imagine it being a dungeon. Where the person's just like, I'm not moving, and so the four people have to click on the
oh my God.
corners to pick you up and walk the NPC forward while the tank stays out the front and just pulls all the aggro of stuff that comes down the
we do that with AFK
hallway.
Players. Like if they're AFK or something, we'll swap blasts with them around the room. It's good fun. Our next tweet's from John Parrish at Jebpad46, who sent us a picture of his Death Knight class mount. People who have sent us pictures on their class mounts, thank you for starters, because they're awesome. I've put them all up in the gallery on the website, so you can have a look on there and look at everyone's pretty mounts. Lita tweeted to us saying, finally was able to get my Warlock class mount tonight, and another Warlock mount dropped from Broken Shore Rare, now at 297 mounts. Congratulations, Lita, because I don't think that other Warlock mount that you got is very common. I think that one's supposed to be pretty rare. So huge congratulations on getting that on the first week. That's crazy.
Do you know which mount that is? Is that
I can't remember
alternate color?
No,
I think it's just the purple version, isn't it? The purple version of the class mount.
Not 100% sure. You could be right, yeah, but it is one that's only available to Warlocks.
He is a Warlock, so he probably knows better than we do.
Warlock wisdom.
I know that it drops from someone on the Broken Shore. I don't know for sure who, but
fair enough.
We had a tweet from Mugaiva saying Natania and I both got our class mounts last night with a smiley face, and I'm very pleased to hear it, Moo. Kristen at DisneyGirl85 sent us a tweet of a picture of her on her ribbon bed. Yay! I was very excited. I'm sorry. I really won.
And Cinder, what were the circumstances around her getting this?
Well, it wasn't my doing. It was my birthday on the weekend, and so Cheryl asked if Cheryl said, "Wow, Gratz, were you listening to Reins at the time?" And I think Spaz, you said that because it was my birthday, that's why she got it. So Kristen was using me as a good luck charm on Saturday. Yes. So hopefully you got some other goodies. But that's very exciting. Such a beautiful mount. I'm really happy for you, love.
Yes. Now, last...
Yep, go ahead.
our last ones come from Nigel Cox at Boba Fetish Wow.
That's
There's
such a
Mount
great name, by the way.
Yeah, Mount 122. I got the class mount for the priest, which is cool. And he even posted a couple pictures of the shadow version, as well as the, I believe, discipline version, which is really cool.
I think the first one that he popped up is actually the shadow one, but he's not in shadow form. So that's what it looks like when he's not in his like voidy form. And then when he goes in the voidy form, the mount also goes all voidy and purpley and stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah, that will never happen with my priest.
Oh, fair enough. Before we go on to this question from Vic, actually, firstly, I did want to send commiserations to Druids because all of the things that they were expecting to get with their mount, they didn't get. So theirs is a form, not a mount, so it doesn't count to your mount total. And it's only available to use in areas where flying is available, which means that you can't use it as a ground mount, which is a bit disappointing. Having said that, it is a beautiful mount, and I hope that you still like it anyway, because I think it's really pretty. The other thing that I wanted to mention, and I don't know if this is going to be fixed, and I've seen other people talking about it around the place, is that the class mounts are counting account-wide. So the achievement for, for your mount count is supposed to be how many mounts you can use on any one class. And it doesn't seem to be working that way. It seems to be increasing. So when I got and I tested this theory because people were asking me on the weekend in Guild saying, what's the deal with this? I'm like, I'm going to check it out because I'm getting my mage one tomorrow. So I went on my shaman main, my paladin, and my warlock, and my mage. So I went on to the toon who was going to get at my main, and then the two other characters that usually have a higher mount count because of, class mounts from earlier before. They were all at 242. And then my mage got her disc, and everyone went up to 243. So it seems to be that they're all going to count.
That's odd.
It is odd, and I don't know if they're going to fix it in the future, but that's something that's happening at the moment. So if you're like one away from getting an achievement one, and you have an alt that's pretty close to getting their class mount, this could be a way to get it up.
Definitely. Now, another tweet that I spotted was from Mark Conan. Mount 341, the Leywoven Flying Cup.
Oh, yes. And what else did he get at the same time?
I'm not sure.
He got a legendary at the same time. He opened a cache.
Oh, yes.
And got a legendary and the carpet in the same cache. It was amazing.
Zanezu's Journey.
Congratulations.
And 600 gold. But that's all I ever get, so.
Oh.
I haven't opened too many, though.
We have one last tweet from Vic Baldry asking, I was wondering how many people have got their Paragon mounts yet? I missed maybe one or two emissaries since launch and have none. I have two. How many do you have, Spurs? You've got none. Malefic, have you got any of them?
Nope, 0 here.
Yeah, Vic, don't feel bad. I know that there's people in my guild who are in the same situation who have been saying, I don't have any, this isn't fair. I feel bad now saying that I have 2. Sorry.
Hopefully bad luck protection affects those mounts as well.
Not too sure. Moriarty in chat, he's saying he's done 30 of them and he's not had any drops at all. So don't feel bad, they are rare. They are supposed to be rare, and they're going to feel a bit more rare because you can't do them on a very regular basis. So it's just going to take a little bit of time. I'm sorry, Vic. But you'll get there. You'll get something eventually. Just keep at it.
Yeah. And that's about it for this week.
This has been a long episode. Sorry, I talked a lot.
Yes.
It's just I love talking about reading with
people. There was
people.
A lot of news, and I felt that the topics that we had may have been light. I was glad at first that we had a bunch of news to talk about, and then I was like, "Geez, we could go on forever with all this stuff." Which I'm glad that glad that we had a lot to talk about. But next week, I would like to talk about class mounts. But what I'm going to do is put up a poll on Twitter after the show goes live. I'm going to set it for 3 days, and it will say, do you want us to talk about class mounts? Yes. With spoilers. Yes, no spoilers. Those sort of general terms. With maybe, like, locations and stuff, but not, like, obviously super spoily stuff. Or no, wait. And we'll see. And if we get no, wait, we'll do something else. It's totally fine. So, yeah. We'll see.
Malefic, thank you so much for coming along and chatting about Mythic raiding with us tonight. It was so lovely to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having
Can
me
you-
anytime.
Can you let all of our lovely listeners know where they can find you on the interwebs and stuff?
Yeah, I can do that. So all the links to, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, if you just go to my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/Malefic Games, then they're all linked there. Or if you just want to get to YouTube, which is where most of my content is, just go to maleficgaming.com because I don't have enough subscribers for a custom URL, but that website is set to redirect right to my YouTube page.
Fair enough.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
And I'm on Twitter as well, at Malefic Gaming. If you want to actually ask me a question or something, that's probably the best place to do that.
Fantastic.
So do you stream anything other than WoW?
WoW, sometimes Star Wars, the Star Wars MMO. I forget what it's
Old
called,
Republic?
but I stream with my yeah, that one. I stream with my
That was
cousin
good.
sometimes, and he likes to play that. Or sometimes my wife and I will play Heroes of the Storm. So those are the three
Nice.
main ones.
Yeah, I need to drag my guildies into Heroes of the Storm more and actually stream it because we have had so many moments in that game where we've just spent the next 10 minutes laughing our asses off. Specifically, Sirius, who plays Malfurion a lot, two other people died, and she was up against 3 other enemies, and we're just like, just run, you'll die. And she's like, don't worry, I got this. And she got a triple kill.
Nice.
That is awesome.
And it was just like, my god, it was hilarious. So, yeah. Heroes of the Storm's always fun. I might drag you in as well, Cinder, if you don't have Graves yet.
I do. I got Graves when I
you do?
updated to so version 2.
No worries then.
It's very good. Thank you, everybody who's come along in the Twitch stream tonight to say g'day. It's been lovely having you. If you would like to come along for our live recordings each week, you can join us on Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Time. You can find us at twitch.tv/Reins of Azeroth. The show itself can be found at reinsofAzeroth.com, as well as on Podbean, iTunes, and Stitcher. Video of the show goes up on YouTube not too long after we finish the stream, thanks to Spaz. Just search for Reins of Azeroth with no spaces, because we don't have a custom URL either. So subscribe, and then we can get one. That'd be really cool. If you like what we're doing, please leave us a review on iTunes or a thumbs up on Stitcher, because that really helps. If you have any questions or stories or pictures of mounts and toys and achievements, or if you just want to say g'day, or if you decided to take your team into a mythic fight because of this episode, please tell us how you guys went, and if there's any other information that you want, we'll be really happy to have a chat about it. You can email us reinsofAzeroth@gmail.com. The show on Twitter is at Reins of Azeroth. I can be found at Spaz Wesson. No, Spaz can be found at Spaz Wesson. I can be found at Cinder_tweets. And if you'd like to join our Discord server, just send us a message and we will send you the link. But that wraps us up for this evening. Thank you again to Malefic for joining us tonight. Hopefully you get to go back to bed and have a bit of a sleep again.
Yeah, I'm going to do that for sure. Grab a couple hours before work.
Oh, good.
Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was wonderful having you. Thanks everyone again in Twitch.
I enjoyed it.
And we'll see everybody next week.
See you later.
See ya.
And done.
Yay!
Sirius, you're free.
Yay!
I got this.
Yeah, you did. You did, Has. It was hilarious.
Good, man.
Well,
Alright,
Good.
well, we'll let Malefic head off.
go back to bed, man. Thank you so much again for coming along. It was lovely having you.
Hey, thanks for inviting me. I had a good time.
Awesome. We'll catch you next time.
All right, we'll see you.
Yeah.
See ya.
And so we'll cut the stream
I
as
love
well.
you.
Alright then.